A fundraiser will take place Sunday at Fenway Park for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. Throughout the country, brain aneurysms affect 30,000 people every year. To talk about efforts to help pay for research and support for survivors is our guest, the Foundation's Executive Director, Christine Buckley. Thank you very much for being with us,
Thank
Christine.
you for having me. I appreciate it.
To make sure we understand this, a lot of us know that an aneurysm is a pretty serious thing, but what exactly is it?
Well, it's a little bubble basically on a blood vessel in the brain. And so it's an outpouching, much like on an inner tube of a tire. So it shouldn't be there, and it takes the blood out of the normal flow of the vessel.
And what makes it really serious is that that bubble can burst.
Exactly. So what happens is, they say now that the stats, basically there's 1 in 50 people that are walking around in the U.S. who have a brain aneurysm and most likely don't know it. 30,000 people a year in the U.S. will rupture. And then half of those people that rupture will die, and then of the remaining half that survive, 2/3 of them will survive with some type of disabilities.
And there's interesting racial disparity here too. I think people of color, maybe African Americans at least, they're more susceptible to dying from this.
Yeah, African American women are a little bit more susceptible, and women overall have a higher incidence of like a 3-to-2 ratio over men.
Do we know much about what causes these?
Unfortunately, with this disease, along with the fact that the awareness is so low, that is part of the problem, part of the overall initiative of the foundation in raising awareness and getting more funding for research is really nobody does know what does cause it. Like many other diseases, smoking is definitely a risk factor that can contribute to the formation, but still really the medical community doesn't know necessarily why they form, when they form, and then if they do, when they might rupture.
What about high blood pressure being a factor?
That is something that could then lead to a rupture of one that is in fact formed.
Well, I know that you're having this event because one of the most important things is to advance the research. What exactly do you see as the most likely advance in research right now?
I mean, people are working all the time, and what they're really trying to do is more towards the early detection side. And there was just an end to a huge study that was a national study, worldwide study based through the NIH, and it was called the Familial Intracranial Aneurysm Study, so short, the FIA. So aneurysms do run in families as well. So what this study was trying to do, again, across the world, was trying to identify a gene, and it recently did come to an end, and they did not detect a gene. But through the studies, even through those findings, what they have, will lead them down new paths. And a lot of the funding over the past few years from the Brain Aneurysm Foundation has gone to something called blood-based biomarkers, where they're still sort of looking for that gene and trying to be able to have a blood test down the road versus a scan to then detect and know that someone does have a brain aneurysm. Because what we want to do is know someone has an aneurysm before it ruptures.
And what about the people who actually survive when they get their medical treatment on an emergency basis, but I'm sure there's some very delicate follow-up involved?
Yeah, there is. There's very delicate follow-up, and it's really on a case-by-case basis. Like I said prior, when people survive, 2/3 of them have disabilities. They could have speech impairment, visual impairments, physical handicaps, but in most cases, people aren't able to go back to their normal routine and their normal daily activity. So many people cannot go back to work, and they do require a lot of therapies for the rest of their life. So it's the disease not only impacts a person that has it, but in a whole family scheme, someone can be out of a job for the rest of their life, putting the burden on, one family member to take care of everybody, and it can definitely change someone cognitively as well for quite a period of time.
Well, I know you're going to have some family members and other supporters gathering Sunday at Fenway Park. Talk about what you've got planned with that.
So it's actually a great event. It's actually a flagship event here in Massachusetts because we are a Boston-based organization that was founded out of Boston in '94, but now we are national. But this is an event that's happened for 15 years here in Massachusetts, but the second time in Fenway Park. So we're most excited this year to be raising again money for awareness in research that we partnered with 4 of the Boston City hospitals, being Beth Israel, Mass General, Tufts, and Brigham and Women. So we have a great support from the medical community where those doctors and nurses will be coming and in support of their patients, the family members, people come in memory of somebody that they've lost. So it's really bringing together a lot of people. A lot of the medical device companies have sponsored the event. So right now we're almost 700 people pre-registered. We've raised about $65,000 up and prior to the event. So we're really looking forward to a nice day and just a lot of, a good family time at Fenway
And
Park.
this is going to be a walk and run too, right?
Yep, a walk and a 5K. So basically we start and end at Fenway Park and we run around the Emerald Necklace at the Fens.
We hope it's a good day for doing it. If people want some more information about this, is there a place you can go to online?
To our website is best, which is bafound.org.
All right, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Christine Buckley from the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. And we'll have more news in just a moment.